Yep. Perfectly fine. You can read by this at this amount of light. Yeah, I love it. So, I have collected a variety of cans over the week. Actually over the month. And yeah, let's see which one is the best to use. This got a very interesting shape. It's from some Turkish tea. CoffeCan. Round beans, round soup, and this was some booze. Yeah, okay. So I have chosen to take those two cans to make the best lantern I've ever made. Yeah. This will be the front part, and now let's go ahead and mark a circle around here. And now here I have a piece of glass. I did show how to cut this in a different video. It's very easy. So, let's see how long I want this to be. But first remove the label. Okay. This will go on here. Exactly. That's good. But we have to see how much we want it to stick out. I say we go for the yep, let's go for the last one here, but we have to keep a bit of it so we have material to work with. So, taking my good tin snippy snips, and I'm just cutting into it like this. There we go. And about here, let's say, shall be fine. So, that's a bit of a piece you have to remove again. So, that's good now. So, I like this about here. That's good. Yeah, let's mark it. So, I'm taking a screwdriver and I'm scratching the paint. That's the easiest way to mark this. See? Now you can see. So, next step next, we have to cut a hole in this. So, after finally finding a working marker, I have marked the outline now. And you could use the Dremel, I started, but it's way too loud in here. So I'm just using a knife. At least I try if it works with the knife. If not, we have to use something else. But it should work. Yeah. It's a slow process, it's a slow process, but it works. And as long as we don't go below the blue line, we are fine. Because we can always file it down here and make it smooth and beautiful. Yeah, once you got started, it works. So, once you've got the hole done, you can take your tiny little tin snips and go around it, cleaning it up a bit. But never go beyond the blue line. And then you will be fine. So, that's what you want it to look like. And now you take a sanding disc or something and sand away till there is no blue left. And now here it is. Ha! Isn't it beautiful? Yeah, and the piece of glass I did cut before. Not the best job, but that's a good thing about this. The corners won't be seen. Haha, great, isn't it? Hey, you can see my camera. Say hello. So, in the next step, we take our coffee can that we have marked before. You can, of course, just mark it now instead of it. And now we have to figure out where we want to attach something. So, the easiest way for this is to cut this first and then mark this. That makes it far easier and not to mess it up. So, now we take this part that we have so hard worked on and cut holes into it. Now, we just cut down to the last rim here. And to make it easier for you to see on camera, I'm marking it. So, especially for you. Okay, let's see. I don't want to have this part So I'm cutting one here. Perfect. And one about here. Excellent. Now we cut another one directly on the opposite side of it. At least as much as opposite as we can eyeball it. That's why we don't mark and cut the can part before this. So if you have a little error, we just have to adapt to it. Whoops. Next we take another one here and another one here. And now we mark those as our first cutout ones. And then we take one side and make sure we know where this direction wise goes. As this has some little dents, this will be the downside. This will be the upside. This makes it easier when we put it on it and transfer the position of those to not get it wrong. Now we make some more cuts. So the next cuts will have a different purpose, but they have to go the same way. So we cut them like the other ones, but just in between those other ones. You will see when I'm finished. And now we are finished. Look at all those cuts. But what's the intention of them? Well, when we put the glass in, we just bend some of them in. Of course, this one is the only one that's a bit hesitant to move. We bend them in and over, so they hold the glass in. See? And of course we have to trim them a bit shorter, as I have noticed, because they are sticking out into the visible area and we don't want this. So we just bend one a bit out and cut out about that much. Then you bend it in down and it locks in place. See, you just take this piece now and you fold it over. And it locks the glass perfectly in place. Isn't that neat? And so, this is what it should look like now. This doesn't fall out, this doesn't rattle, this is completely fixed in position. And you have 4 of those posts left. And a lot of those little cut-offs you don't need anymore. And now we are going to mark the final position. Put it on here again. Just like this. And then just look how it looks good. And then we're going to mark how wide the cuts have to be to fit them. So, good thing is this is easy to mark as you can just scratch the paint. But there's of course one more thing we have to do before we cut. We have to cut out the inner circle. And it's not ultra critical. You just have to cut it deep enough so the black doesn't get seen through the hole. So, and as before, I'm just using the knife. This is a way thinner metal, so it shouldn't be hard to cut through it. See, it's making a hole. But you have to be careful, you don't want to bend the whole can. It's better to do it slowly and carefully. And a little side note, this is very hard on the blades, so you have an easier job if you brace them once or twice whilst cutting around it. See, a fresh blade does a far better job than an already dull blade. It's not the ideal knife, it is always, as soon as you hold it and press the stupid button, it slides back in. But that's okay, we work with what we have. I could use the Dremel, but then that's a bit unfair for all of those who don't have a Dremel. So I'm doing it the old-fashioned way. I like to use minimal tools for my projects, so everybody has a chance to recreate them. That's kind of the thing. If everybody uses a laser cutter or a 3D printer or whatever, that's excluding a lot of people who can't afford them or just don't have the room to put one in their apartment. Yeah, imagine one of those little tiny Japanese apartments. There is no place for a laser cutter or a big 3D printer. Yeah, okay, let me finish this and I come back to you. So, here we are. After 2 X-Acto knife blades, we are through it. And we now have a metal disc thing that we don't need anymore, and we have our hole. And if we put this on top of here, we don't see anything of the black anymore. And that's what we wanted. And now, let's cut those slits. So, and the holes are cut. Now we can take our pre-fabricated piece. This is down. And slot it in as much as we can slot it in. Let's see if we have to rework something. Looks good so far. I think only this one here has to be a bit redone. So, the holes are cut, now let's put it together. This is down. So, and now it's installed. You can of course neaten it up a bit more and tweak it a bit, but it is installed now. Doesn't it look great? So, as we have put it on now, the next step happens in it. We just put our hands in and bend those tabs over and under. And they happen to be perfectly lengthwise, so they can slip under this without being seen. Isn't that great? You have to be careful, this is still a bit sharp in here. But you see, they bend over and fold in. I have to be careful with this one. Here you can see it better. It just bends over and folds in. So, that's the first part. And of course, the little holes we see here again and what's not perfect, we can just go over it with solder and close it up, or silicone or whatever you want to use. You can also use some aluminium tape and fold it around it. That's a neat little idea. Or put a bit of a ring around it with something. Yeah, there are dozens of ways. And I'm sure you can do a better one, but I'm just making this here behind the camera. That makes it a bit harder. But now we work on this part. It is the lid of it, and light wouldn't work in it because it needs air. So we have to make a little chimney for it. So take what we have left on spares and make something out of this, because, well, we don't wanna waste something, don't we? Oh, that's a hard one. Bang! Yeah, just cutting a piece of it out that I like, and then we continue. And to improve the optic a bit, I have taken the bottom rim of the bottle and just stuck it over it. It snaps in place, and I think it makes it look very good. It gives it a bit of a... well, it looks better. Yeah. Now this lamp needs a chimney, so we just remove paper from the can. Focus, please. Stay focused. Rink. That's a kind of cheap engagement ring, if you want to really cheap out. No, better don't do this. Girlfriends don't know any fun when it comes to something like this. So, I like this part here, so I will use this as the chimney for the lamp. It fits. And so we just have to do the same thing we did here, with the exception of we don't have to do the annoying part with the hole. We just cut it to about here. So let's take the pen and mark it. There's an ant crawling on my table. What are you doing here, little fellow? Wanna join me? That's the problem if you have a basement apartment. All kinds of critters. And so, now let's take the trusty tin snips again. And by the way, this is a S&R brand. If you want some, for me they work fine. And they are using a bit of leverage here, so it's not just the ordinary standard tin snips. The good kind. So let's go in here like this. This is just to make us a bit cutting room here. I'm not doing a pristine job here, I know. I'm just brutalizing it. But we just have to go to this part up here. So, let me show you. This is the same process we used before. Try to get you in focus. Stay focused, my friend, stay focused. Just cutting along the blue line. Yeah, you don't want to go below the blue line. It's not like the green door, it's the blue line. Never cross blue lines or red lines. Be careful with any kind of lines. Border lines and other lines and lines and I don't know lines. I don't know much about lines, but I know you don't wanna climb up high voltage lines. It's dangerous. And you see, that's a neat cut, perfect. And always be sure to pick up those little tiny pieces of tin can. They are extremely sharp and they will stick in your skin like nothing. And now we will drill some holes in this to have enough ventilation. And so there they are, 4 little holes. If they are not enough, we can just add more. That's the good thing. I was working with tin. And now we have to put it on here, mark it again, and then do the cutting, slitting process again that I have shown you previously. So it's cut in now, and I will fit this in, but before that I will of course cut out a bit more inside. So that is what it looks like when it's slotted in. I will of course make a hole here so the air can escape, and then I just will fold them over like I did before. So the holes are here. I punched them from the inside out, so they are a bit recessed here. Let's put this on here. Make sure it fits all nice. And then we will bend those just in like this. And you can bend them a few times, so if you have ever a need to go in this again, we can do so. See? Well, so far so good. The lamp body is finished. Now we have to make the internals and a attachment and carrying handle. So now we're starting with the inner workings of it. I've got here this old spray can. Okay, now let's open it. Make sure it's completely empty. You don't want to have it pop on you. But yeah, just take a knife and I cut it open. And be careful, there will still be a bit of it inside. See, it made a sound. Now you're gonna just cut it in half. As childs, we actually collected those old cans and cut them open to get the marbles out of them. But nowadays, there aren't marbles anymore. It's just most cans just use a black piece of, well, metal, a little metal ball. Yeah, so there she is, open. And by the way, here she is. That's the ball that's in it. Rather tiny one. They used to put real marbles in this kind of can. That's, well, maybe for a small slingshot or something. They also have bigger balls, about twice the size. And sometimes even still glass marbles. Yeah, now I'm taking over here with the king snips. But we could use scissors. This isn't used. Save it for another project. But we will use this. And we have to cut it down a bit, about to here. Going into a curve. And I'm trying to make an even cut. You can use the label to orient you. That's usually quite helpful. Make a bit sharper I can focus. So, this is what we were after. The polished underside, because this will be our reflector. So, So next, a coat hanger. So now I'm straightening it out till it is one continuous wire. And so now the wire is one long wire. The coating is one long wire. And I will make a holder for this large tea light candle. And this glass happens to fit perfectly, so I'm using this to bend it around. See? So let's hold this and bend it down. Same on the other side. Just holding this here. And then bending it down. Here's the camera. Just a bit, so. Getting the camera in the way a bit here. But that's the holder. So, the mechanism from the inside. Tin can. You can use every flat tin can. I'm using this cookie tin here. So I'm just taking something flat to straighten the curves out. makes it easier to work on it. But you can use every thin sheet of tin. So I'm just taking this bottom piece, and it has got about the right shape. Just got to mark how long it is where we will bend it. So that's where it will sit. Let me try to remove this label here. So now it's cleaned up. This will attach here, and then we will see. So now let's make some cuts. So So now we're going to mark the spots where the bendy things are, just with a scratch of the needle, and then we cut them out carefully with the knife. It's a bit reflecting, but you see here the markings, and those are where we will cut. Just scoring it till we pop through it. This is the perfect opportunity to use a Dremel if we have one, but I bored a hole, the scissors will do. Just put it here in the hole, pull it to the side, and then push it forward. Gets the job done, but it ain't pretty. So We will cut a piece out of this and slot this to here. So, one small punchy. And now 2 large holes on the opposite end. So, 2 little brackets. So, now installing. Here we have to make a little slot. Just as wide as this is. And then we make another slot here for this. So, just like this. So, it is in here and now it goes into here. Just like this. Then we bend this part up. And this part down. Doesn't this look neat? So, I'm taking a pen and I'm wrapping the wire around, and interestingly enough this wire is painted, so I have paint chips all over the place now. But I'm wrapping it around till I have a spiral. So, and there we got the spiral now. That's where the candle will stick in. But I have real trouble here with this stupid paint flaking off. I've never seen a painted coat hanger before. Normally they are just metal. Huh. Yeah, could have been a better spiral, but anyways. I'm taking my pliers and I'm holding it right here and bending one wire into the middle. So this will stop the candle from falling out. I have to redo this. I don't like the mess it made. Yeah, I'm taking a glue stick that's a bit bigger, but better suited for this type of candle. Bending it around. And then I'm bending this part here simply up. And now I'm going to bend upwards the spirally part here. For this design we will cut 2 large candles exactly in half. Then we got 2 for the price of 1. And so this is how it is supposed to look like. There the candle goes in and then it goes into the lantern. And so there she goes. One here and one there. So let's light the lantern and see how she works. Little flamethrower here. So now let's fire her up. Yeah, burning already. Let's put the hood on. And yeah. There she goes. Look at how bright this is. Let me take the handle. Yeah, that's how a blinding lantern works. So now let's take the lantern and shine it on the wall here. Yeah, you see the difference. Pitch black and bright. This works so great. Let me get the exposure a bit down. Now you can even see the flame in front of the reflector. I love it. This is great. So now let's get the exposure up again. It's in auto mode now. Yep. Perfectly fine. You can read by this light with this amount of light. Yeah, I love it. And now I wanna say a big thank you to all of you who have watched, well, till now. Well, you can do me a favor and like the video and subscribe to my channel. I wanna reach the 1000 subscriber threshold. And then I'll see you next time here at the Adventures Club. Yeah, I'm really proud of this lantern.